Hey everybody, welcome back to Nintendo Treehouse Live at E3. I'm Sam, joined by my colleague Morgan, and we have a couple of very special guests with us today to talk about new Super Lucky's Tale. Over here we have Dan and Taylor from Playful Studios.
Hello.
Dan,
Hi.
the game director, and Taylor, one of the artists. And thank you so much for joining us today and giving us a little bit of an extra look at this game.
It's our pleasure. We
you.
absolutely love getting any chance to show Lucky to a new audience. I love it.
And where would you like to kick us off here? What are you thinking?
Well, we brought a completely brand new level, never before seen. So we really wanted to show something unique for Treehouse Live.
Awesome.
Cool opportunity. So we brought a level that is set in the world of Veggie Village, populated by these crazy wormhole characters. They're real country folk, but they love a good concert. And so in this level, it's a Harvest Jam. And so they do this every year, and it's a celebration of the harvest, and they're about to do the concert. However, something has gone wrong, and all the performers are missing. And so we want to show what this level is like. It's a playground-style level, so there's a lot of things to go explore and do and find and collect, as well as many different ways to play. So logic and reaction, things like that. So
I love it. I'm seeing some carrots here. I'm ready for vegetables.
Yeah,
I got this little owl hopping around on the. I love it. He's just waiting for us.
Yeah, he's a we call him Pill Owl. He's just a little sphere, a little just squeezable little shape. And,
Lump of outlet goodness.
he's super cute. Yeah, we love him. So
All right.
I'm ready to get started here. And this level is called the Soggy Boggy Boys, and that's who you're rescuing from their own misfortune, really.
So as we get started here, can we start off by just giving folks a little bit of a look at Lucky's moveset? Because he's got some really cool abilities and moves that you set up here.
Right, so one of the things we really wanted to focus on was Lucky as he controlled as a character. We wanted to see just how tight and how responsive we could get him. And so we've added a lot of things in here to emphasize flow. Like, we didn't really want to break up your experience ever. So if you'll notice, he's got a jump, a double jump. He has a hover slightly with his tail swipe. And that combos really well into Burrow. He has a 1-2-3 with his tail. Hi, 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 and he's really a joy to control. And one of the things that his dive is especially good at is seeking out enemies. So one of the things that's actually pretty difficult in 3D platformers is finding, like, jumping on the heads of things and seeing that in space. And so we wanted to build kind of this very organic, natural, flowy feeling moveset that helped you without feeling like it's taking control from you. So an example of that is just jumping, and you can burrow dive right on interactables and enemies and things like that. And I mentioned before, playground. We call this game a playground platformer. So that means it just has a lot of little things to go investigate and fun and find and collect. So this is a little time trial run. It appears in a lot of our levels.
Yeah, I know how this works. I see blinking collectibles. I know what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta go.
There's a time limit. Hurry! And so, not everyone's going to find this, but we give you little hints, and I got it. So I got one of 4 possible pages in the level. So you can just blaze if you want, get right through it and beat the level and get 1 page for that.
We just saw that Burrow, when you do it out of midair, he like twirls. His whole body twirls.
Oh, yeah.
I love that detail.
And it combos really well into his slide. It just feels good to control Lucky, and that is so important to the team, and us to get it right, because you're going to be spending a lot of time with him, and we don't want that to be a feeling of frustration. We want it to be a feeling of joy. So we call this like land dolphining, or just being able to go in and out of Burrow and experience that over. And then there's plenty of things to get out of Burrow. You can use it to bust up crates and things like that. It's a lot of fun. And so we're entering into a space here, which is the market. And so all the all the wormholes here are here ready to talk to you about the upcoming festival. And one of the nice things we have done with this level is it is tradition when you have a Harvest Jam to speak as a wormhole almost entirely in pun. And so we have crammed as many puns as humanly and wormily possible into this game, specifically into this level. And so everyone's having a really good time, but I mean, you should really count them. There are like too many puns.
I saw a turnip one. I think I saw lettuce. I saw berry.
It is pun insane, which is what we want. I mean,
Right.
There's another one.
yeah, I mean, it's what we want, and it just this is their harvest festival. There's a time when they all get to do that.
So here we have the sheriff wormhole who's telling you that they have a problem finding the Soggy Boggy Boys, and he needs you to go search out for him and bring them back over to the stage so they can finally get on with their harvest concert. So he goes ahead and opens the door up to the barn over on the side over there, suspecting that's maybe where the first wormhole, Soggy Boggy Boy, is.
Exactly.
So worth chatting about here. Right now, we got to put our Wormhole concert back together. But that is not the entirety of New Super Lucky Tale. We should probably touch a little bit on what's going on in the story, because Lucky is a young fox who's gotten himself into quite a bit of trouble here.
Yeah, so Lucky is actually trapped in this level, but also in the game, in a magical book called the Book of Ages. And we have a lot of lore and story about that to kind of introduce it, but in essence, it's a magical book that has a lot of infinite pages with infinite worlds in them. And so you actually get to experience many of those worlds in New Super Lucky's Tale. And when you go in, your goal to get back out to the real world is to collect as many pages as possible and break the lock and ultimately defeat the bad guy Jinx and his kitty litter, who are his kids. They're a bunch of nefarious cats. They're there to keep you, and they're also trying to collect those pages to harness their magical power. And so you're traveling through, you're helping people, but ultimately you're also trying to get back home.
Right. And over in this section over here, this little girl was telling you that one of the Soggy Boggy Boys was trapped up in that barrel up there by the angry farmer wormhole. We saw him trespassing in his farm area. So you're going to have to use your strategy of burrow and just sneaking around over here in order to try to worm your way up to the top of it.
Nice.
I had
It is
to
the
do
Harvest Festival, so you were doing what you need to be doing.
Farmers are always so protective of their crops.
They are.
They are. So one of the things about this is, as you can see, the bouncing behavior is actually pretty cool, and we use it all the time in the game. But in this particular place, if you bounce while you're trying to be staying burrowed and hidden from the farmer, it actually resets you to a checkpoint. So normally a cool thing that you use to get over walls and to find collectibles, but here it's actually a kind of a hazard. So it's a fun way to repurpose and kind of explore all the different possibilities with an interactive.
Yeah, and those coins didn't look that different from the little stem. So
Yeah,
it's
if you
kind of
go
like,
fast, it can catch you.
Yeah, there's a little bit of trickery here. You have to pay attention, and we give you a tiny bit of heads up, but honestly, I've gotten tripped up on so many times. I'm like, oh, I'm not paying attention. I'm trying to dial it in, and the tomatoes will get me.
So in this tomato-based stealth mission, it's actually a great opportunity to talk a little bit about the camera changes you made, because the camera system is quite different from what you had that you were working with before.
Totally. One of, I think, our biggest goals was to give as much control to the player as possible. So we basically made our own 3D camera solution. It has all the bells and whistles you would want, but also we didn't want to. A lot of our players play without really moving the camera that much, and I think that's probably true for a lot of 3D platformers. So we wanted to not just provide a 3D camera and be like, great, hope you do something nice with it, but really we wanted to give players full control all times, but hints. So like a good example is here, I did not do that. Like that's actually, we know that to get out of this shed, you're going to be facing this direction. And so we have these hints that while they're completely overwritable, you can take control anytime you want, they're basically showing you what you need to see when you need to see it. This entire section, in fact, is covered by hints, so I'm not controlling the camera right now. The game is helping me navigate that, so that way I can just focus on moving Lucky, and I can focus on moving the wormholes or meeting the wormholes and things like this, and then I have full control whenever I want it, and I can move it how I like.
Oh, there's a little collectible hiding down there. Wait a second.
You noticed it. See, how many times have I played this level? But there it is. So I mentioned this before, but I feel like so much of my game development career has led to this moment where we were able to dress up a worm like Bret Michaels and have him do a concert, and he's about to launch into his solo, which is a jug solo, which I've always wanted to put into a game, and here it is.
Yes.
So we'll get to watch that.
Ruben Sugar Solving. Where is Oggy Boggy Boy? Hope you like a bottom.
This game has so many different settings, so many environments. People maybe had a chance to check that out with the trailer that we released, all the variety, but it's got to just be so fun getting to create art for a game like this.
Oh, it is. Yeah. It's the team gets really enthusiastic about the characters, so it's really fun trying to put some concepts out there and see what's biting, what's making people laugh, or what they think is funny. And I'm like, oh, this is probably in the right direction. We want to go for that. With the worms in particular, they've proved a bit challenging for other departments like the animators, because a lot of the characters that I've made for this are kind of stumpy in a lot of ways. Like their limbs are too really, they're really short, or their mouths are too big, like on the giant fish and everything. And they're like, how are we supposed to express this? But the great part is they've come up with so many really great ways to kind of nudge that in the right direction. And just, it's so funny seeing stuff on our chats and everything at work, because we'll get updates on like the animations that they're doing for it, and we're just like, oh, did you see that? Did you see that? And you just hear like laughter erupting, like a fire going out through the studio. So
well, even during that jug solo, which took out the power.
Yeah,
it is the most powerful. We cranked it to 11 and we paid a price.
That was the animators.
That little worm could barely hold his jug with his little like worm arms, but he had it. He had it.
There is a certain suspension of disbelief when you have a fox running on 2 legs. And, so they can hold the jug.
They can. And I mean, they've farmed everything with those nubs too, so they've figured it out somehow.
They built themselves a successful society.
They have.
And on that topic, I suppose, just to talk about some of the other characters as we head into our next little area here, folks who had a chance to check out the trailer saw that there's quite an interesting variety of allies, enemies, some interesting folks that you're going to meet along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different characters we're going to meet. Real quick, while we're here, I want to just intro this space. This is the washing station. So as part of the Harvest Jam, you got to wash all your fruits and veggies. You can't eat them without washing them. And so this is the entire station that they've hooked up to do that. This is where you're going to find Bert, who is part of the band, but he is looking for the rest of his fireflies, which are his backup dancers / stage effects. And so you got to help him collect them all. And this is a very free-form space. You can approach the goal in a lot of different ways. I wanted to showcase that seeking behavior I was talking about before. So you can really kind of extend. You can deal with enemies in a lot of different ways. Lucky has a kick. You can but it makes it a lot easier just to jump and interact with them. And his tail swipe stuns them very easily. So it's a fun way to connect with all the different characters. And then especially sections like this, you can use dive to great effect. So sorry, you want to go ahead?
Oh, sorry. With each of these sections that we're going to be showing you, the wings where all of these Soggy Boggy boys are, is they're really trying to help you kind of hone in your skills as far as those skill sets go. Like here, you got a lot of platforming experiences that you're trying to navigate through, which is really helpful. And in the previous section, it was all about trying to perfect your skills with the burrow dive and navigation within that. So it's really nice to kind of see a breadth of those mechanics being used here skillfully.
That's right. I mean, and this level, I think, shows that just really well. Each one challenges a different aspect of what you're trying to get done, and a lot of this is reflected in the game as a whole. This is the washing part here. Like all these things are just dunked over and over again until they get squeaky clean. But it's also a fun platforming challenge as well.
Yeah, I love that connection. The thoughtfulness between platform. We're used to moving platforms, things like this, rotating platforms or platformer, but they have this really cool. It builds out the game world like it's a fruit washing station.
No.
So there's that thoughtfulness between level design and building out that world and giving this sort of a really neat, story.
Yeah, throughout
behind the
it's
level
just
design.
it's like painfully charming.
This level in particular was one of the ones that we just completely rebuilt from the ground up. And before it was like a really cute space, beautifully lit. But during the process of making this game, we had so many instances where we were like thinking, wow, wouldn't it be cool? What if we can do this? And we had so much great feedback from fans and then reviews that were coming in, and it just really ignited a fire in us to maybe we should take a leap and just invest in what if we kind of refine this mechanic? What if we add in 360 camera in here? How much better would that feel? And we started adding a little bit in, and then at some point we were just like, well, what if we just funded this and put in the time to really just sink into this IP that we really love so much, and we just get so excited to hear from fans that they're interested in this type of game, they want to see more of this stuff, and so we're like, cool, let's maybe just do it, take the leap and do it. So when we were starting to work on this one, it just exploded, like the original map that we had for it.
This whole thing is a labor of love.
Yes.
I mean, we wanted to see how much we could cram in here. The new is not just a title. It it represents exactly what we're trying to get done with this game. Is we wanted Lucky to be as controllable and as delightful as possible. We wanted the adventure to feel fresh and challenging. We wanted the enemies, the way they reacted to you. We wanted the story. Every one of those pieces, we wanted it to feel like just a breath of fresh air and tons of fun.
Right.
And this is one of the brand new levels. Oh no! That kind of helps showcase, I think, that attention to joy and detail.
I think that really comes through so well.
It really is the definitive version of the Lucky's Tale stuff.
It really is.
Yeah. It's all the cinematics and writing and everything. It's got all of that.
So we've helped Bert collect all his fireflies, and he's waiting for us to turn it all back in. So let's go check him out.
I don't even know how he got his hat on his head. His
I
little
know.
arms keep reaching out. It's so cute.
I think I like to imagine that there's just like a hook on the wall, and he just kind of like
Just goes-
raises
jumps
himself
up.
into it. It's kind of like Willy Wonka-ish.
Their language is so cute, too. Just a bunch of gibberish.
No, they makes perfect sense. Lovely.
That unsure smile and the kind of creeping up into
His hat like doesn't quite fit down on his head, so it wobbles back and forth as he jams.
So
Those little
daughter.
details are really, really charming.
All right, so Sheriff is leading up to where we're going. We're going to this next section here, which is, so we've done a lot of reaction, and we've done kind of some just general platforming, and this is a logic puzzle. So many different levels feature different ways to play. This one has quite a few different ones, but in this one we're tasked with getting backstage, and to get backstage we need to find the key. The difference about the key is that it's super heavy, so I actually can't jump, and I can't tail swipe when I have the key. So you need to be somewhat judicious about when you pick it up and put it down. And I know how this works, but this switch here raises and lowers this. So this is how I can get it up there. And so pick it up, and I have completed step 1. However, the challenge is just
There are other steps ahead.
there are other steps ahead. All right, so phase 2. We need to get another key all the way up there. And, a little
nice.
secret there. I have missed the U every playthrough. I miss at least one.
I think that's one thing that really rewards coming back and really digging into these spaces, because there are so many collectibles and so many little details. Even things where looking around the little kind of market space, it really is nice just to soak it in and take your time finding things in there. There's a good chance there'll be rewards that you didn't find the first time you passed through.
right.
That's the whole idea. We have, like I said, up to 4 different pages that you can find. And if you want to keep collecting coins and things like that, there's other rewards for that. You unlock costumes and some other fun stuff too, just by going above and beyond. But like I said, you could go straight through this level and just get 1 page for completion, and that's totally fine. We want you to invest as much time as you want into this, but we want to give you rewards when you do. And so if you get all 4 pages, you're well on your way to unlocking special costumes, but also making a lot of progress towards getting to the boss.
But I think one of the things that makes the game really special is when all of this comes together. You've got a game that offers a really fun level of challenge with some really intricate puzzles and really tightly tuned platforming. The platforming feels good and satisfying to play. At the same time, this is a great game that you could have fun playing with on the couch. You don't have to worry about chasing your kids out of the room. They can watch, and they might even find you collectibles that you didn't even notice when you're going through. So it's this really amazing family activity that you can share with everyone.
Right.
I think it is approachable. If you see someone playing it, it's easy to go in and immediately get what's going on and immediately feel like, oh, I can contribute. Just like you said, like, hey, you missed it, and that's like a classic thing that you can do to your friends, like, you missed it. I saw it, but you didn't see it, And so it's a lot of fun, and it invites people to come in and comment and play with you. So I think it's really good at that. So we've collected all 3. Here is their final concert. Lucky. Don't ever change.
So cute.
There it is, the Harvest Gem in full effect.
And so this is an area that really focuses on that tight platforming and puzzling. Other areas will have big boss fights. There's going to be a real interesting mix of experiences for players to enjoy. But overall, it's just this charming is the best word I can think of it. This incredibly charming experience. Everything from the visuals to the music. Honestly, I've just found it such a joy to play.
Oh, that's the goal, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're having fun making it, then you hope that kind of comes through and other people are having fun playing it. So this has just been so great for everybody to work on. The enthusiasm behind the team for this has just been stellar. Those are the people you want to work with, the ones that even if they get pulled off and maybe to another project, they still come back and they're like,
Right.
hey, I have an idea for something. And that just kind of builds up, and then you end up with something really cool. So it's just fantastic to work with people like that.
It's, the team is passionate, and we mentioned this before, and that word gets thrown around a lot, but it truly is, this whole game has been elevated by the entire team's commitment to trying to make it more joyful, more delightful. Like, if there's a rule for playful, there's a rule for this game. It is, I want you to give us your best ideas. No idea is off the table, but I really want you to connect to what we're trying to do here, which is bring something delightful and enjoyable to as many players as possible, on the best possible platform for this, which is the Switch. And I think our entire team connects with that goal so deeply that they're really unwilling to let it be just enough. So even as we speak, we're still cramming in things, and then we need to stop, we need to, really wrap it up. But it's because we're just not, we're not satisfied. We want more and more and more, and to have even a higher level of polish and a higher level of polish. And that's what this game means to us, and that's what this IP means to us. This is Lucky. This is our IP. This is our character, and we wanted to make the definitive edition for this, and we wanted to really this be our foot forward, especially on such a, I think, an audience that respects and really craves this type of entertainment, because we know we do, and that's the whole point here.
I think that the love that's been put into this really comes across so clearly when you check out this game, and your team has been working so hard on this. Is there much we can say at this point about when folks can look forward to playing the game, when it's going to be coming out?
We're looking to launch in the fall.
That's great. I can't
Fantastic.
wait. Yeah, the game just has a generosity and openness, a brightness. It's been a pleasure. I've been playing it a lot this week, and it's a pleasure to hear you guys talk about it. Pardon the pun, but it almost feels like you feel super lucky to have been able to make this version of it, and I know we feel lucky to when it comes out. So
I think in the time of the Wormhole Festival, a pun is appropriate.
We're under the umbrella of the festival, so it's all fair game for now. For now. Yeah.
Tomorrow, after the festival's done, got to cut it off.
It's done. But no, I mean, I'm just so happy to hear you say that, and I really can't wait. I know we can't wait to share this with as many people as possible. This is, we crave this type of game, and we think it's just a very accessible, even down to the way we handle the moves, right? The moves are very simple to use, but they extend very well. So it is not that, we really want you to be able to get extremely proficient, but then that proficiency lets you extend what's possible, lets you explore more, lets you find more secrets. And this type of game, we think, just benefits from being accessible just right from the get-go.
Yeah.
But then, do you want to test yourself? There's lots of secret areas and things to go in and really test your skills and push. And then when you're ready, like, okay, no, I'm done. I just want to finish this level. Then you can go and do that too.
Yeah, and it feels good. Like you were doing the same thing I was doing as I play. When in between, I'm like, I need to get over there, but I'm still going to keep double jumping and burrowing on my way because it just feels so good. And I think the best platformers have that. No matter what you're doing, you're also just, the controls just have that sort of, they kind of hug you with the way they feel.
For all ages on there, whatever type. I'm a completionist, so I always want to go and find all the nooks and crannies. But if you, like Dan was saying, if you want to go through, you can breeze through it if you want to. And it's for all ages too.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate Dan and Taylor, you spending your time with us to show us the game, show us this new content. Morgan as well, thanks for hanging out, and can't wait to see the game. So thank you. Looking forward to seeing how everything works out.
We really appreciate the opportunity, and we can't wait to share it with everybody.
All right, and folks watching, please stay tuned. In a little bit, we're going to come back with some more Super Mario Maker 2.